Good evening, everyone. Royce Miller here, coming back at you with yet another Let's Try. Sorry I haven't posted in a minute. Um, First I was feeling ill, then I just was feeling too tired, and now I'm just trying to get this out before the fatigue totally consumes me, I guess. Um, Obviously not my weekly segment propped up. I think I'm just gonna skip this week and come back fresh on Saturday with what I was originally going to do last Saturday. Also, I'm hoping to do my 1,000 subscriber special sometime today, or at least, get it filmed and then maybe post it sometime. Uh, Also, doing this a little bit quietly because my roommate is asleep and I don't want to wake him. He's got a busy job in the morning. So, anyway, tonight on the docket, we have Frankfurt's Kraft mac and cheese. Now, again, I had a whole bit planned where I was going to pour this all into a bowl and pretend I was eating it like regular mac and cheese, but, I mean, part of the fun of these is the unboxing, so, it's a very classic blue box of Kraft. And then you have the gummies. Now, I am curious because some of these ingredients could be cheese related, especially the sour stuff. I hope it's not cheese flavored because that would be disgusting, but we'll try it anyway. Okay, smells kind of orangey. That is thick. They're more flavorful than the gummy Lunchable, at least. They're very mild, either like peach flavor, maybe. I don't know. Generic fruit flavor. There is no hole going through the middle, as you can see, which is a little disappointing, but the consistency is interesting. They remind me of the buns that went on top of the gummy Krabby Patties, which were always like the toughest one to bite through. I don't know, something about whatever they add to these gummies that makes them opaque instead of translucent. Just adds a lot more chew to them, I guess. Also has a very spongy consistency. And like I say that like it's bad, but I like gummies. I like this texture. I will also say that I might put a hold on posting like overly like posting videos where I'm trying a bunch of new stuff because Rent just came out and that really messed me up. So I don't know if I'll be trying like very many seasonal items or anything like that in the near future. It may just be propped up for a little bit. With the exception of the 1,000 subscriber special, which I have something very special planned for. And I have a gift card that's going to help alleviate, or that's basically where 90% of the money for that is coming from. Well, 75%. This eats like really well done steak. I wish it said what flavor these were. Only 7 pieces is a serving. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that's not very much. And like, I get the serving is kind of like just so that they can claim that they're not, purposely misleading you. But I mean, I don't think an adult is going to be sharing this. It's a very small package. It's the size of like a movie theater box of candy. Which, by the way, have gotten a lot smaller in recent years, too. Like, I used to love getting a package of Bunch of Crunch or Dots for a movie. But, like I said, I used to love gummies, and then I got braces in high school and had to stop having them for a little bit. Then the second I got my braces out, I went back to eating them. Which, speaking of, look how good the braces did. Like, I still got my David Letterman tooth gap there. I guess it's kind of my own fault because my retainers kept breaking. Because I would grind my teeth in my sleep, and that would damage the retainers. And my mom lost her job. We lost the health insurance that was paying for my retainers with it. Say, Livy. I will say these do chew a little better if you warm them up on your hands, so maybe leave them in the car for a little bit and let them heat up. And I know I've been talking a lot about stuff that I want to do but haven't done it yet. And I do apologize for that. Like I said, I mentioned the possibility of like a live stream let's play or something over a month ago and haven't really done anything with that. And part of the problem is that I do have depression and anxiety, and that leads to a lot of fatigue and lethargy. And when you have a 40-hour-a-week job, that makes it hard to get done with your, that makes it hard to do anything in your free time. Like, there have been weekends where I've just not gotten out of bed. I've been getting better about it, but it's still hard. I considered opening a Patreon, but I don't want to charge people for me to eat. Like, I don't know, it seems like a dumb thing to do. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm not really creating content here. I'm eating food in front of a camera. I'm rambling about toys I bought in front of a camera. It's not. I'm not creating art. I'm not creating documentaries or anything like that. Or all content is art to an extent, but you know what I mean. I'm not drawing things like an artist. I'm not posting video essays like some of the people I watch. I guess let's talk about Kraft mac and cheese. It was my favorite mac and cheese growing up. I do not like Velveeta very much. The rest of my family loves it. My grandma makes a Velveeta in shells every Thanksgiving. But me, I prefer classic Kraft mac and cheese. One time, my dad was going to make it for dinner and had me go buy butter for it, but I was in like first or second grade and I didn't know what. And but we lived in a small town, so he could just send his little kid to the next door to the store to pick up butter back then. But so I went and grabbed what I thought was butter, but it turned out to be margarine. And he went off on me. He was like, "Oh, this stuff is so gross and unhealthy. Do you want to die, Royce? Is that what you want? Do you want to die?" Like, just traumatizing me, who was a little kid. And I found out later that the reason my dad hated margarine so much is because he grew up poor, so his mom used margarine a lot. So he gaslit me about the unhealthy effects of margarine because he didn't like the taste, because he associated it with being poor. And but here's the thing, margarine is no different than butter. Butter is effing milk fat, okay? Margarine is vegetable oil, or whatever you call it, shortening. It's the same effing thing. And arguably I should probably be eating margarine nowadays because I may be lactose intolerant. Which, butter does have a very nice creaminess to it, but I will say that I do think that margarine tastes a little better in mac and cheese. Although you still gotta add the milk, so, it's... We're actually about a year out now from when when my home was struck by lightning and I had to move into an apartment. Well, for a little bit, I moved into a hotel. And during that time, that was the first time I ever had milk, or lactase-infused milk, where it adds the digestive enzymes to the milk, so it's easier on a lactose intolerant person's stomach to see if it would help me. And that's what I would use to make mac and cheese in my hotel room because it had a little electric range. Man, I can't believe it's already been a year though. Between you and me and the floorboards, I actually got my roommate a little anniversary gift because he took me into his home and then got me signed on to his lease so that I could stay here. So, I did get him a little present. For those of you who don't know who Team 4-Star is, this is probably going to sound really weird, but I got him a Team 4-Star shirt that came back in limited release. It's the Android shirt, where it has the 3 androids from DBZ, Dragon Ball Z, has the little Android logo from, the Verizon phones. But, no, don't tell him about it. Like I've said in the past, he's a big nerd like me. These are his posters, not mine. Over there, he's got a Nuka-Cola Girl poster and a art print of Green Arrow and Nightwing. He's got a Pokemon backpack and Captain America shield hung up on the wall. I basically stay in my room and he has the rest of the apartment. And that's not because of him. I'm not a social person, so I kind of stay in my own little zone. Like when I was renting a room in the house, I just stayed in my room all the time, which was the basement, and it was a big space, but it wasn't. But I kind of relegated myself to this one little area where I was just, um, you know, playing games, sleeping, and pacing to music. But moving out of that very not toxic, but just I got in a rut, a slump, and I don't know. It's gotten easier to take care of myself outside of the confines of that basement. Uh, like my room was an absolute pigsty, and my room at the apartment, well, it's not exactly clean most of the time, but I do try to do a weekly cleanup and take care, uh, take the garbage out, all that stuff. Do my dishes when I can. I'm trying to be better, and it's a long road. I was a very sheltered child, and that carried through to my adult life for way too long. I didn't know how to operate very well, and like if I may be frank, I when I was a kid, I was like, if I'm not famous and cool by high school, I probably should die. And like that was probably the first sign that I had very serious depression was that I didn't want to make it to adulthood without having the rest of my life planned out and made easy for me. And taking antidepressants hasn't magically made my life better. I still have self-destructive tendencies, as you can see by my weight, but I'm getting better. You know, it's the baby steps on the road to recovery. I also have a lot of addiction problems from both sides of my family. My dad was an alcoholic and was addicted to methamphetamines when he was in the army. Um, my mom, well, both my parents were big smokers. Most of my mom's family has some kind of defect that's either alcoholism or drug addiction or something like that, or gambling addiction, which is probably arguably the most self destructive because, like, I don't know, your your dealer is not always going to be there to sell you drugs, but the casino is always there to take your money. But it's a legal form of destroying yourself, so no one really cares about it. Well, legal in some states. I happen to live in a cluster of states where it's legal. Um, in fact, when my uncle comes up from Texas, the first thing he does when he gets here is gamble. And it's kind of upsetting to me as someone who, doesn't like addiction. My mom smoked when she was pregnant with me, and I'm still salty about that. That she didn't love her children enough to stop smoking. But, that's all water under the bridge, I guess. She did stop smoking after she finally kicked my dad out, though. Because she was getting rid of one toxic element in her life, why not get rid of another? um, Outside of food, I haven't really had an addiction, but except for minor forms of gambling addiction. namely Hearthstone packs. I'd always be like, oh, I gotta get that next. Like, oh, I gotta get I gotta pay for the 80 packs to get this and that. And I really had to stop myself. And thankfully, Hearthstone made it a lot easier on me because because they're run by awful people. So I stopped financially supporting them whole hog in like 2019, 2020, sometime thereabouts. I think it was after the Blitzchung debacle. Basically, Blitzchung came out in support of Hong Kong rights in the middle of a Hearthstone tournament, and Hearthstone was like, oh, we can't alienate the Chinese market. It's whatever, man. Why did we get to talking about addiction from me eating Kraft mac and cheese gummies? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm probably going to go to bed soon. But thank y'all for joining me for this. Sorry it went a little long. I hope my voice is able to be carried and picked up by the microphone when I'm trying to talk a little quieter. But y'all have a good night. Thank you for hearing me out. This is Royce Miller, signing off.